episode of Business Insider. I'm your host for tonight, Mohammed Abdirrahim. And His Excellency President Sisi and his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, announced on a joint statement in Beijing the launching of the Egypt-China Partnership Year to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the comprehensive strategic partnership initiated in the year 2014. Sisi embarked on a state visit to China, which will last until the 31st of this month, per an invitation extended by his Chinese counterpart to attend on Thursday the 10th Ministerial Conference of the China Arab States Cooperation Forum. On Wednesday, Sisi and Xi Jinping engaged in substantive discussions focusing on enhancing bilateral relations across various domains, especially in the economic and investment field, and they also discussed regional and international developments, and especially the situation in Gaza, where a joint statement talked about conformity in Cairo's and Beijing's stance towards the Palestinian issue and the situation in Gaza. We are honored tonight to have with us in the studio Engineer Dr. Mustafa Waly, who is the former General Manager of the Federation of Egyptian Industries. He's also a member of the Energy Committee in the Syndicate of Engineers, and he's also one of the founders of the very first Egyptian-Chinese Business Association. A very good evening to you, Dr. Waly. Always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you very much. It's also always a pleasure for me to be here and to be with you.
Thank you, Engineer Waly, very much. Allow us, dear sir, please, and dear viewers, first watch a report on our main topic for tonight, and then come back and start our discussion.
An official reception of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was held on Wednesday upon his arrival at the presidential palace in Beijing. Guards saluted President el-Sisi and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping, and the national anthems of both countries were played. The two leaders held important talks to discuss means of enhancing bilateral ties and opening new fields of cooperation in various domains. This coincides with the 10th anniversary of elevating the Egyptian-Chinese ties to the level of a comprehensive strategic partnership. The talks focused on a host of regional and international issues of mutual concern, topped by the war in Gaza and means of restoring regional peace. During the visit, President el-Sisi also meets with heads of a number of heavyweight Chinese companies in various domains to review means of encouraging more investments in Egypt, especially in light of the state's drive to promote mechanisms for localizing industries and transferring technology through cooperation with the private sector and foreign direct investments.
Thank you very much, dear viewers, for staying with us, and thank you, Abir Hussein and Rasha Abdel Hamid, for this report. And back here in the studio with Engineer Dr. Mustafa Waly, one of the founders of the very first Egyptian-Chinese Business Association, amongst other titles, of course. Dr. Waly, how do you see the significance of this high-profile visit by His Excellency President el-Sisi to China?
Well, this visit, and in such time, and with all the perspective, you know, we expect, and with all the results which we are expecting, and soon it will be felt, is another landmark in the most important relation between Egypt and the Chinese society and the Chinese government and the Chinese concept itself, because it's now concept. When I say concept, I mean a lot of things which is very important to us. Let's take one or two maximum which shows the importance. China gave the most unbelievable when it comes to the small and medium enterprises, for example. And China also showed the importance of management of all the human resources of the whole country, regardless of the geographical location. And China is in itself is a continent. You can say it's a continent.
Yeah.
We will draw much out of this, and we have been drawing out of this since the development, the very speedy and very, very promising, and smooth and steady relation between, I mean, the relation in the right sense of the word, that it's comprehensive relations when it comes to politics, when it comes to economy, when it comes to social, when it comes to cultural even. It is true for those who have been through this. And I could say humbly that I was one of the people who have witnessed the start of the climb up in this relation, let's say since the early 90s. And after that a lot of development up till this moment. And on the ground right now we have very successful evidence and success stories for the best, and based on good relation and good understanding and mutual interest between us and China when it comes to foreign direct investment. And when you see the people that who are dealing in this, who are going after this business, are keen, and every day they have a landmark of success.
Yeah.
And now, right now in China today, there was a joint statement confirming all this and giving the promise also for better and for more development. I have to talk this way generally, because if you get into the details, all of them actually are pleasant in the real sense, I mean, or satisfactory.
Indeed, Dr. Wali, so celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership initiated in 2014. I really liked it when you said the Chinese concept, and you focused on China's, the fact that its economy was mainly built on pushing the small and medium enterprises sector forward, and you also talked about utilizing the human resources in the utmost way possible.
Yeah.
Can I add also, depending on the local component, the manufacturing and the industry, which your fields really of expertise, depending on the local components in manufacturing, because this is a policy now here in Egypt.
Sure.
We've been attempting to do that for decades, really, but how are we getting there, and how important is that as part of the concept that we might emulate and may succeed in?
Yeah. Well,
localizing the industry.
Yeah, you know now the whole world now is witnessing how the development step by step and gradual and so, but very formidable, based on formidable basis, the development of a big country, the biggest, largest when it comes to population, to reach.
And when it comes to economy as well,
yes,
I mean, maybe only the U.S. is.
Yes, right now, it's the second largest economy.
Right.
And by the way, they are not first now, the first population. That's for the Euro. You know,
so it's India.
Yes, with few millions.
Really? Yeah.
Yes, it's India. And when the day happened, you know, it was announced all over the world, because you know.
Yeah, it's an event.
Yeah.
It's a milestone, really.
Yeah, of course, yes. And this might take us to other aspect of also.
But a very interesting piece of information, really.
Yeah, and it goes also to the very important aspect.
So second largest economy and second largest population.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But second largest economy in the sense that it's really, if you look at it, if you look at China some 50 years ago, it was different story. It was different story.
And area-wise, it must be in the top 5. I mean, yeah. I mean, you have the Russia, the United States, maybe. I'm just trying to remember the map, really.
But those people, these people, I mean, the Chinese people, they manage actually with their leadership to embark on a very tough road, you know, in all aspects, you know, from education to health, you name it.
It's a model to technology.
First, you know, technology. Now, let's face it, you know, technology will never prosper unless there is a successful and useful and to the best education. That's the answer. And they managed to have this. You know. I
It's
can
a concept and a model, really, as you said. So, Engineer Waili, some of the cooperation in the economic field include the Chinese investments in the financial and business district in the new administrative capital.
Yes.
Of course, a lot of investments in the Suez Canal economic.
They have a big area called TEDA, you know, abbreviation.
Yes. Yeah, Suez Canal Economic Zone.
Yes.
Also, of course, in the transportation sector, the electric train and many other sectors. So talk to us about this diversity in cooperation between the two countries.
Well, they proved themselves, you know, in their own country first, you know, that when it comes to the latest of technology, when it comes to the most essential, you know, construction, they proved themselves. And they even, you know, when they are ranked to the highest level available in the world. Construction was their, you know, motto for about 30 years of work, construction. And those who witnessed this, because I also witnessed in the early 90s how the construction was unbelievable there. Because they knew that they must have this, they got it and then built on it. But they were going parallel with other things. Look, they see, or they believe, and they told us in some meetings, of course, you know, when it comes to the industry, because I was working most of the time with the Federation and also the industrial
Federation of
sector.
Egyptian Industries.
Yes, Federation of Egyptian Industries, and with communication with similar business organization, because they got their, this China is a communist, I mean what's called China Public Republic, and they have business community there, yes, private sector now, and there are some big names even in the field of IT, and their success in the IT business is a story which will be told over the future, in the future, because it started from scratch, while the others were surpassing them with miles. This is something shows you that when
it's really the People's Republic, isn't it? I mean, the People's Republic, or socialist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
With this sense.
That's the official name, right?
But anyway, the most important thing, these people have surpassed the ideologies and all this which will hamper, but they put all their efforts and their understanding, their all education and their culture to build and to work and build in general.
Right. Now, some political points here of cooperation between the two countries, and then we'll go back in Business Insider to the economic cooperation. Very important points here. The two presidents talked about a joint governmental committee, the formation of a joint governmental committee at the earliest opportunity. They also stressed the importance of mutual cooperation in combating terrorism. China reiterated its support for Egypt's right to maintain national sovereignty and territorial integrity, rejecting anything going on its borders. Egypt, on the other hand, also reaffirmed its commitment to the One China principle, recognizing Taiwan as an integral part of China and supporting China's sovereignty and territorial integrity. I guess very, very, very important points there. How do you see this, these points?
I see it as simply as a proof of the degree of understanding and mutual interest and respect of both sides. That in itself will summarize. And meanwhile, this is based on real success on the ground in all these fields. And you see when President Sisi confirmed that Egypt believe in one China,
right?
Then okay, then
very clear, a very clear stance.
It's one China, so it means there is no chance for some understanding or
misunderstanding.
It's one where. Giving the right
no chance for a misunderstanding.
Of course, or just playing around in our politics. No, it's clear. They show that they believe that we have the full right for our integrity when it comes to the land.
Very clear as well.
And this covers a lot of things. Right now it covers what might go in
the eastern border, right.
Yes. And these people do not play a lot, you know. They are serious, you know. They are serious.
Indeed.
People, you know.
There was also a clear conformity regarding the situation in Gaza.
Yes.
And this is very, very important. Regarding, of course, a ceasefire, the hostage deal. Egypt, of course, is playing a big mediating role, to reach a permanent ceasefire and the exchange of, you know, hostages.
And stop what's going on. What's going on there is,
of course,
the
not only a tragic.
It's
inhumane.
Genocide. It could be genocide.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Let's name it.
Yeah.
It's true. If you people, you know, let's not go through. It's enough. Our status and our stance concerning Gaza issue is since the day one, working hard to solve the problems, working hard to maintain peace for the interest of everybody around. And you are paying much for it from day one.
And rejecting any attempts, of course, to liquidate the Palestinian cause, as you know, by forcing the forced displacement, something that Israel wants,
Too early,
of Palestinians
we mentioned
into
this, what was going on
very
for
true.
6 months now.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, now if we go to back to the business cooperation and some business points, some numbers here that we want to mention is that the cooperation investments between Egypt and China amounted to $14 billion in 2023, and of course the plan is, or the goal is to increase that, but so far 15 billion US dollars in 2023. The latest number.
Yes. If you see the trajectory of the cooperation on yearly basis, you will find it positive, even in tough times. You know, it goes some.
So it has a curve,
but generally, it's positive. If you look
an upslope, you mean?
Yes, positively. We're not talking. In this case, and look, in the other side, when you see the most important thing for us as Egypt is the foreign direct investment.
Right.
They are eager to get with us, and they even delved into some areas where the development will be tremendous if things will be okay. I mean, you know, the whole world must feel in peace, so that at least the trade will not be affected, you know. So we need parts, we need commodities, they need, and if something like that, you know, is hampering, I mean, making it difficult in the Red Sea, you know. See, we lose even, you know. Anyway, peace is very important, and when peace will hopefully soon will again be dominant in the area, will be prevailing in the area, I think all our dreams or our hopes will be materialized.
Right.
Including more investment in Egypt.
Right. Back again, just to mentioning one point regarding the conformity in regards to the situation in Gaza. Of course, there's conformity that, you know, Israel, the occupying force, is responsible for the hampering and derailing of the entrance of aid into Gaza, and what it's doing at the Rafah crossing border and other areas, because, you know, there's a dire need for assistance, humanitarian assistance, to enter into Gaza. Now, some of the agreements between Cairo and Beijing, including a collaboration in China's Belt and Road Initiative, which brings Chinese companies to build Chinese-funded transportation, energy and infrastructure projects overseas.
Yes. Let me add something also. That there will be some trade between debts and development.
Right.
This will be great, you know. By the way, which means to deal in our currency, both of our currency, because it will be bilateral, and then it's okay.
The pound and the yuan, yes.
But if you look it from the other side, of course, China can give a lot based on the experience, technical experience, based on their interest to have something to show that China is able. There is no such a big project like the Belt and
the Road.
Yeah. That's really great. And they know the most important spot geographically and even economically, you name it, the Suez Canal and the Suez area. And the importance together with that Egypt is the gate to Africa.
Right.
And this is in their planning. It was mentioned some time ago that this is the most important issue when it comes for the road and belt. This geographical issue of the junction between Asia and Africa.
And Europe.
And even Europe. Yes,
Right.
I was,
Yeah. So, again, what sectors, what about the energy sector? I mean, you're a member of the the Energy Committee at the Syndicate of Engineers. What about cooperation in the energy sector?
I will tell you something, I read it more than once to make sure,
Yeah.
that China, together by itself, is contributing in the development, in the research and development and the implementation of green energy more than 40% of the whole world. Imagine. So they were accused of polluting the world. I mean, which is not an accusation, it's true. They
and the US.
And America, yes, and the US. I think once
the two major polluters,
yes, because look at
the
the
two
volume,
largest economies.
Look at the volume of energy transfer, energy conversion. That's it. So imagine they are paying too much and they are so keen. They have the cheapest and the most efficient solar panel, right? They are the biggest manufacturer of solar panel.
Yeah.
The most important in the whole.
So you see a lot of room for cooperation here, and we have here the Binban solar power plant. So now, sir, very soon there will be this China or Arab China forum. And so in the upcoming couple of days or so, what are you looking forward to in this summit?
Let's hope that those, I mean, those who are representing their countries, Arab countries, I mean, to have the same language, the same determination when it comes to every issue on the table. Simple as that.
Just like Cairo and Beijing were.
Because also, you know, there was successful meeting, you know, in Saudi Arabia, and then soon, Egypt, actually, I think, I read also that we suggested that we'll have China, Arab.
We will host it here.
We'll host it here.
Okay. Yes. So you want to see, again, conformity and joint statements.
Unity in such with people like this, with the mentality of the Chinese, with their experience in politics and their dealing with the world. It's better to be very clear with these people, you know. Better, you know.
So as you mentioned that, you know, China could look to Egypt as a gate to, naturally, a gate to Africa, and as you mentioned, the juncture, Asia, Africa, and maybe also Europe. So maybe also it could look at Cairo as the gate to the Arab world.
Absolutely, because in a lot of things,
by default, Egypt is the gate.
By default, when it comes to geography, when it comes to history, when it comes to the actual situation on the ground. I mean, economically at least, which is the most important.
Right. And of course, we are talking about two of the most ancient civilizations in the world. So what about this also cultural link between Egypt and China?
I heard and also I noticed, but I'm not sure, but I think it's true that there is interest actually in the Chinese culture from our side, I mean from Egyptian side, and those who are joining, you know, Chinese department, Chinese language department in this institution which is teaching Chinese, a lot there are more students, I mean, interested. And vice versa, by the way.
Right, right, naturally,
Yeah.
naturally. What about the fact that Egypt now is a member of the BRICS, where China is a major
Yes.
player?
Yes, yes. For sure, BRICS will prove itself when things settle down, because when the confusion which is running in Europe, now specifically Europe, you know, which is affecting a lot of
Russia, Ukraine, you mean?
yes, that's the main actually. Now add to it now increasing the problem, what's going on in our neighbor, in our community, here in the Middle East, in Gaza. This is very stark situation, you know, and it's very alarming by the way, and very affecting actually, terribly affecting economy and the movement of the people and even planning. You cannot be sure if you exactly can reach, for example, for us, we are looking for 4.4 for growth rate for the next fiscal year, I mean for GDP.
Yes.
This even is still threatened, not only us, the others. So peace is very important, but the area where they can help, where China can help, also will be hindered if these problems is not settled peacefully, because otherwise it
Well, they should.
drastically.
They should. It's about time. It's about time, because what happens really goes against all parameters of international law, of humanitarian,
Exactly.
you know, morals or ethics, and
It goes, for example, sorry,
Yeah.
it goes without saying, you know, their road and belt will be affected. This big project will be affected. There will be a bottleneck here in our area, of course.
Yeah, everybody's interests are being threatened. Now, you've been there, Engineer Dr. Wali, for decades, since the formation of the Egypt-China Business Council in the 90s.
Mid-90s, yes.
Yeah. Talk to us about key milestones that you saw, like in the 90s, in the first 10 years of the new millennium, and the past 10 years, and so on. Key milestones. Because what today is a key milestone for sure.
Of course.
And 10 years ago, and that strategic partnership.
Because that time it was future, now it's past. You know.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
I remember that we had meetings sometimes, you know, with the business community. We were invited to some, you know, business communities with the Chinese side, and also they were giving their projection. All of them were very optimistic that within 2 decades, I remember this very well,
Yes.
they will develop, and exactly if you get to the figures of that time, you know, of the international association and the international institution, you will find them for about 20 years, their GDP was 2-digit. Imagine.
The growth.
Yes, the growth rate of 2 digits. Nobody will do this. While everybody, while the best was maximum in 5, 6, and so on. That's and we're talking about big country. I mean, population and all these things.
Yeah, and that's why you mentioned, you know, that you view the China success story as a model, or and you called it the Chinese concept.
Yes, yes.
And I mean, it's amazing how they use the human resources to their advantage in the most efficient way.
Let's talk some facts on the ground, but when you see when it was established, I mean, the issue itself was established as a fact in their life. The joint ventures and the direct invitation for the biggest names in all the heavy industries, in all the sophisticated industries, precision engineering industries, you name it, to the limit that they have some cities totally for foreign companies to work there according to their systems, with full protection, with full support. And you will find the big names, how they flourished there. I wouldn't say the names now, but it's fact. It's well known.
Yeah.
and very big name in the world.
Right.
In engineering industries, in automotive. Absolutely.
Now, technology is certainly an area where there could be a lot of cooperation between the two countries. I want you, sir, to talk to us about that, and also about other sectors other than the energy, or the construction, or the transportation. What about cooperation in other sectors? Because in the sectors we mentioned, I mean, the cooperation is very obvious.
One sector which I witnessed, even its formation, the Chamber of IT in the Federation of Egyptian Industries. It's the IT, information technology. Added to it now, the artificial intelligence. They are doing big strides I'm following.
It's amazing. That was going to be one of the very first episodes that I did in the past few months or maybe years, where the word AI didn't come up. But you mentioned it, you know, just minutes before the end. So the word had to come up. You know, I can't remember the last episode I did when the word AI didn't come up. Sometimes I bring it, but you know, I was going to say to myself, oh wow, this is the first episode without the word AI coming up, but you mentioned AI. So it seems, you know, so what about cooperation in artificial intelligence between Egypt and China?
Well, it is more or less in the hardware side, because they are now they were given the name so far. You of course heard about it. China is the factory of the world. So it means that you produce anything.
Made in China.
The world is made there. Anything in the world is made there. So actually, because they managed to increase their quality and increase the capacity, both together, this is really difficult job. And it needs what? It needs that a governmental body, you know, or those, you know, controlling, to maintain the cost to minimum and to manage to encourage, because you have to inject capital, you have to inject a lot of resources in developing certain prospect, certain issue. In this case, it was the artificial intelligence. Before it, it was the IT. They managed to have their own system when it comes to a lot of, you see TikTok and you see the fights between China and USA and such.
In everything, really. I mean, wherever there's a field where you know growth can be achieved, there is a fight between Washington and Beijing.
Just recently, if you go through what is written in the American newspaper and U.S. newspapers concerning China, you will be shocked that these people are telling the truth. I mean, these newspapers, you know, they are well-established newspaper. I mean, recognized, and you can trust what they, because they are not talking about themselves. They are talking about the others, and the others can say no, but the other will be happy because they are telling the truth about them. If it's good, for example. I was telling you about this situation when it comes to renewable energy. But there is other thing altogether for a very important concept in industry. The value added in industry, it comes to the best in a sector of manufacturing, in the sector of manufacturing. So there was some statistics shows that it is China who is investing and supporting all the manufacturer when it comes to the real support as a government and as a system, by the way. So that they are challenging. Nobody is getting closer to their rate of development.
Right. Engineer,
in manufacturing.
Understood. Dr. Wali, the media and soft power in general plays a role in, you know, bridging gaps and in getting people's to cooperate culturally in the best possible manner, and these are two rich countries with their history, their traditions, so how do you see the role of media and soft power in general in bringing Egypt and China even closer?
Yes. This important role, because it will be beneficial for both sides. But what concerns us is ourselves, we. The more we will get to how the people there manage to face their problems. I mean, as
back to the concept
again. As policies.
Back to the concept and the role and the model again. Yeah.
Yes. When you see this, you might get a lot of experience. You might get some good ideas.
Indeed, a historic visit by His Excellency the President to China, and Egypt and China celebrating the 10th anniversary of their strategic partnership. And of course, looking forward also to the Arab-Chinese Forum in the upcoming days, where Egypt will be, of course, leading the way in the Arab world. On behalf of you, dear viewers, we thank very much our dear guest here with us, Engineer Dr. Mustafa Waili, the founder of the very first Egyptian-Chinese, one of the founders of the very first Egyptian-Chinese Business Association, also the former general manager of the Egyptian Federation of Industries and member of the Energy Committee at the Syndicate of Engineers. It's always great pleasure to have you with us.
Same to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Waili.
Thank you.
And thank you, dear viewers, for watching Business Insider. Goodbye.